Hi everyone, it's Veronica here again, and it's the end of July. How do you feel about that? I hope you are able to recommit to your business goals. July is always a weird month. I don't know why, but being in July just basically creeps me out. It's right in the middle. It's a lot of fun things are out there to do. Everyone is going to the pool, and it's just sometimes a bit hard to stay on track. And as business owners, we can really get off track at this time during the year if we're not careful. In January, we get all pumped up and we're ready to go, and we're all excited and we're working towards our goals, and then July hits. No one likes to be in the I don't like to be in the middle of anything, so it just seems like the journey to the end is so long. So let me know if you agree that July sometimes can be a weird month in business. So you may have started the year with a number in mind, a revenue number. And this, normally what, everyone is encouraged to do, to go ahead and project, what you think you may bring in for the year and so forth. But we're now in July, and now you may realize that the revenue that you expected to bring in will not bring you the cash, or the cash that you need to meet your personal lifestyle or your business goals. So don't worry, this is a common problem that several business owners face. So you don't have to hide from the reality that maybe your numbers did not meet the goals that you have set, or so forth. When it comes to projection, there's a little more work that you can do to get better projections for the year so that you can feel more confident in July when you're right in the middle and when things just gets weird and you're ready to step things up. So when it comes to projection, I have found three problems that business owners make that basically they're losing the mark on their business numbers just because of the way they're projecting. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is projection does not match up with your marketing plan or efforts. So that's one problem. The second problem is you don't have enough hours in the day or night, if you turn into a zombie and don't sleep at night, to make the amount of money that you're basing your projection on, whether it's $1 million for the year or how your business is structured, how you're running your business, that you don't have enough hours in the day to make that much money. And that problem can be fixed as well. And also, the next one is you didn't factor in expenses, so your revenue was not enough to give you the desired cash that you needed. And this is money that's left over, money for you to enjoy, money for you to reinvest, and just money for you to keep, basically. So that's what I'm talking about in that last one. So if we go back to the first one, projection doesn't match up to your marketing plan and effort. I'm also a victim of this as well. This happens when, the number of leads that you need to convert does not meet, the effort that you're putting in on a daily basis. So for example, you said that I'm going to make $600,000 for a year. How did you come up with that number, and what are the strategies that you're going to use to generate those leads for that revenue to come in? So this is where you can get some help with your sales and your conversion, and maybe invest in other programs so that you can get help to meet these goals. I'm not saying that you are not going to make these numbers. I'm saying that your marketing efforts and your daily action plan should be able to help you to meet these goals. If these things are off track, then you will not meet those projection number. So don't think you have to become the jack of all trade. We all have to learn this, and the sooner you learn this, the better it will be for you in business. The reality is that we all need help. This is also on the top of my list for 2018 for me to streamline, get my message out there on how I'm able to help business owners, because I don't know marketing. I have to get help. And I know that it will be extremely rewarding if I invest in that part of my business. So go ahead and get help with this if you're not able to get conversion based on your marketing efforts or your marketing skills so that you can start meeting those numbers that you're projecting. The second thing that I'm going to look at is you don't have enough hours in a day or night to make the amount of money that you're projecting that you're going to make it. And this can be due to two reasons: how you're operating your business model, or it can be you're just not charging enough, your prices are too low. And then if you think that, okay, well, I'm going to go delegate these tasks and so forth, not a problem. You can go ahead and delegate as much as you want. You can go ahead and take some things off your plate as much as you want. But if you're not able to meet those margins based on those price points, the contractors that you're using that you have to pay, and all the time that you have invested, then you will still be in that constant short of cash model if you're not careful. So go ahead and look at your pricing, look at how your offer is structured, look what is included, how much does it cost, what margin are you making on that number, to see if that number is a good measurement of what value you're delivering and also how much cash you will need in your business. Some quick things that you can look at. So this is kind of like a quick and dirty way to look at your pricing. So if you're someone that feels like, well, I don't know if my prices are good, if they're too high, and based on the market, those factors you should also consider. But when you're talking about the actual amount of money that you need to bring in, how much money, do you want to pay yourself? How much expenses do you really have? How much do you have to put aside for taxes? And how much time do you really have to service these clients? So if you're trying to charge someone, say $1,000 for something when it's really worth $2,500, how many hours will you have in a day to be able to service those projects so that you'll be able to meet that revenue target that you have set during the year? So go ahead and look at your pricing, look at your offer to see how you can revise your business model so that you can meet those projection goals for the year. So don't get scared of taking a look at this. Don't get scared of changes. It's business. Change is a norm that you have to always keep tweaking things, always keep changing, always getting help in areas that you're not that I wouldn't even say confident that it's just basically a weak area or area that you're not strong in. So the other thing that I want to look at is people that are not able to factor in expenses. So they're basically didn't make the amount of money that they may make their revenue that they want to make. Say we're using the 600,000 example. So they made their revenue number that they made to make, but their expenses are so much that they did not get to keep as much money. They did not have as much money as they wanted to have at the end of the day. So they make 600,000 and say at the end of the day they end up with 50,000. That's really not a good margin to have or anything like that, to end up with only 50,000 if you started off with 600. So this is one of them that I am really good at, and I learned this at a very young age because I used to sell everything I could get my hand on when I was young. So how would you want to fix this problem and finish strong for this year is to review your financial statements, review your numbers to see what your expenses are, to see, what are some of those items that you have to cut back, to trim the fat on some of the expenses that you have. Sometimes you may have expenses that you don't need anymore. Sometimes you basically have other expenses that, you got blindsided by. So how much cushion is there in your money roadmap for your business? Take a look at how much you're paying yourself. How much are you reserving for taxes? Are you saving money on taxes? How much expenses do you need to cover? And, how much money do you want to keep at the end of the day? Because this will end up in your cash. This will determine if you have a positive cash flow at the end of the day. So it may be a factor with your pricing and, If you're not having enough business, then you can defer back to number one and get someone to help you with your conversion rate so you can get enough clients in your pipeline so that you'll be able to meet those projections. And then you can look at your expenses to see, is this revenue number of 600,000 is going to give me the cash of, let's say, $200,000 that I need at the end of the day to meet my other personal and business goals. I hope this information was helpful in helping you looking at your projections at a different way. So it's just not coming up with a number and throwing it down. Well, everyone online is talking about having $1 million business, but how much money are they keeping realistically? So it's not about how much everyone is making or trying to hit that $1 million mark in revenue. We all have heard that cash is king. So how much cash are you going to get to keep when you meet that $1 million mark in revenue? So happy July, happy going into August, and I hope you finish the year strong and meet your numbers and the rest of your business goals in 2018.